Welcome back to Nikki's Scrapbooking Adventures. We are back today again with the 49M Markets Sherbet collection, Sherbet, whatever it's called, right? And we are going to get inspiration from this piece right here and Vicki Boutin's bokeh technique. So Vicki was explaining that bokeh is a way for circles and light to show up on a page in dots. And that is what this part is. Bokeh has also been defined as the way the lens renders out of focus points of light. So you can see here, we're getting inspiration from the circle portion of the bokeh technique. I will list Vicki's video. It is quite long, but she goes through how to do this bokeh technique. So what you need today is a 12 by 12 piece of paper, because this is going to go to our collection. You need 3 scraps of paper, 3 different size of punches, and then your colors for your Distress Oxide inks. So these were the colors that I chose last time, and so I'm going to keep with that. So again, that's Fire Brick Red, Carved Pumpkin, Squeezed Lemonade, Bundled Sage, Broken China, Cracked Pistachio, and Stormy Sky. Now each of your colors needs to have a separate dome, because you cannot cross-contaminate. Cross-contamination is bad. Don't do it. 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 Okay, and then I just have my scrapbook.com things. Now, to store these, I've seen people put the hook part of Velcro on the back. Now, I got some of these used. I don't think this one might be used. I don't know. This one's definitely used, but it doesn't have the... But they put the Velcro on the back of the Distress Oxides so that this just sticks there, which is awesome, right? However, it creates some bulk, and I don't think it would fit in my storage system. So, anywho, what we're going to do with those scraps is we're going to punch a circle as far in as we can on the scrap page. So there is my 1 1/4, and we got the 1 1/2, and we got the 1 inch. Okay. What this is going to allow us to do is get a perfect circle. So we're going to go in first with our largest circle, which is going to be the 1 1/2. And we are going to pick either the warm or the cool palette, not both. On the inspiration piece, they picked all of the colors because those colors are not touching. My design, I want it to touch. So I'm going to pick the cold palette to start with, or the cool palette, excuse me. So, I think I'm going to start with the Stormy Sky. Okay. Tap some color on there. And in a circular motion, start off the page to get some of that ink off. In circular motion, make a design. If you start in a circular motion before you actually touch the paper, you're going to find that you won't get so many streaks. But look at how cool that is. Uh-oh, we got a little mistake there. You know what we do? We cover it up. Not a big deal. Okay, just blend it out. Okay, so with this specific, I'm going to have to be really careful that I'm not super close to the edge. So, in fact, I'm going to go get a different punch. Yeah, there we go. So instead of my 1.5, because it's so close to the edge, I'm going to do 1 3/8. My 2-inch punch is exactly the same, essentially. So, let's see. It's still bigger than my 1/2, barely. That's all right. Okay. And then I am going to work my way down. So I'm just going to put one right here. Okay. And then without adding ink, I'm going to start again. This way, we get different types of colors. So kind of like in that Google image, you've got the different colors. I'm going to go ahead and go up here. Isn't this fun so far? I think it's fun. I really wanted to try this technique when Vicky had talked about it, or showed us on her YouTube channel. That's where I watched it, at least. She would do a Facebook Live. I think she does a Facebook Live every Friday. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to get a perfect circle. Well, voila, you use these to get your perfect circle. I'm going to switch colors, but I am going to stay with the same size because you want to start with the largest size and fill in from there. Okay. Going back and forth in both directions. Doing that circular motion allows for there to be just a little bit of light, which I think is pretty cool. Okay. Do a little bit. Let's do another one right here. Right on top of the one next to it. Now I am using the Distress Oxide version of inks because they're opaque. And so you can't really, you can see the color behind it, that it's there, but not what the actual color is. Okay, so let's go in with the Cracked Pistachio. There we go. Okay, dab it off a little bit. And then, of course, I'm going to put, just kind of fill in some spaces here. So, by not adding ink, you're getting like 3 different colors here, which I think is pretty cool. I love this bright color here. Let's add some right here. Now, when do you know when to stop? When you feel like it. When you're like, well, I kind of want some white space, but I don't want some white space, but I'm going to get me some white space. I do recommend kind of following a line, though, like having an idea in your head of where you want your circles to go or what you want them to look like, right? So I'm going to kind of do like this C shape, make it look like they're trickling down. So more up here, less down here, right? Let's do a super light one. Let's see, going in my C direction. I think I want one right over here. Next color is the Bundled Sage. Again, sticking with the cools. We don't want to switch back and forth between the cools and the warm color. So cool colors are blue, purples, the end of the rainbow, green. And then warm colors are the beginning of the rainbow, red, orange, yellow. So I think what I'm going to end up doing for myself is doing one of these similar patterns in the warm and then in the cool. Okay, I'm getting a lot up here and I want to be able to fill in later. So let's go right here. Start with your bigger circles first, and as you work your way down. So that size is done. We're going to go to my 1 1/4 size and fill in some gaps. Overlapping some, not overlapping others. You know what this kind of reminds me of is those dance lights, you know, in middle school or high school, or where they have you try to take pictures in front of stuff. This is where the fun comes in. These smaller ones just get to be added kind of in the white space. And that is the cool version of my bokeh technique. That is using the warm colors. So I will put them right next to each other. I think these turned out awesome. I'm really happy with them. So there's the cool colors on the right hand, and on the left hand is the warm colors. Now I do have a couple spots here. Not gonna worry about it. I honestly think I like this one over here better than this one. But it may just because I'm in like a summer springtime deal, and I really think this would be a fun summer layout, right? So I hope you learned something from this. I will link Vicki Bouton's bokeh technique video so you can watch that for yourself. I think she did a couple different videos. I think 4 videos in total for bokeh techniques. I had a little bit of fun after doing these papers. And I decided, oh, why don't I try another punch that I have that's a different shape? So it's not going to be bokeh, because bokeh is really focusing in on the circles. But you can definitely stencil. So I took this punch, and it has 2 sized butterflies, which is perfect because you want kind of variety in sizes. And I punched them out on just some scratch cardstock. And then I put the second, like the smaller one in here and taped it on the back so that it's kind of masked and won't go through. And then I did the opposite thing. So I came up with, this was my test project. Look how cute that is. So just doing the same technique, but with the butterflies instead. Just a cute little card. And then I went all out. I decided to go in a V line, so the darkest colors are down here and it gets lighter and lighter. And so I started with the bigger butterflies in the lines, and then I filled in the smaller butterflies to make it look like they're going off into no land. Then I was watching a another YouTuber. I'll list her thing below, her channel below, because she was talking about different techniques that you can do with stamps, stamp pads. So then I created this by just dragging my stamp pads straight onto the paper and off the side to make it look similar to this pattern right here from this Spectrum Sherbet. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then I did another one of her techniques that she had talked about. And I wanted to get the extra paint, because what happens is if this is wet at all, that ink is going to transfer to your pad, and you don't really want that to happen. So I was like, well, how am I going to clean my pad? Well, all I did is I took my ink pad and I put it down on the paper and rotated it. So I made a cute little pattern. Now that is nothing to do with the Spectrum line. I just liked it. I was like, well, I still need to clean the other half, so I kept my warm colors on one side and I put my cool colors on the other side. Now this kind of reminds me of the Vicky Bouton line, because she had a couple of papers that had these swirls in it. Great starting point for a grid, right? So that's a fun little two-sided paper there. I'm just having so much fun playing with my ink pads in a different way. Let me just lay these out for you. That I'm just going to keep going. So if you want to play along with me, absolutely. I would love to see your creations. You can put your Instagram link down below. I'll definitely have these on my Instagram too, so you can take a look at a closer look. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.